So on the 8th of April, the BBC press office dropped something wholly unexpected, because we're coming to the end of Jodie Whittaker, the 13th Doctor's era, so you kind of expect that, you know, this whole era is going to start winding down, and then we're going to start getting promotion or some announcements or news for the impending Russell T Davies 2 era. However, it turns out that Jodie Whittaker, despite only having 2 specials left as the 13th Doctor, still has some more to give to the role, specifically in the audio medium. And it's not Big Finish, believe it or not. It's actually something for BBC Sounds, the Doctor Who spin-off podcast, Doctor Who Redacted. So we got an official announcement here on the Doctor Who TV website. Tune into the new Doctor Who spin-off podcast, Redacted. Doctor Who enters a new dimension as a spin-off podcast. Doctor Who Redacted lands on BBC Sounds. For those of you outside of the UK, BBC Sounds is essentially BBC's podcast app, where you're able to listen to all of their radio shows live. You're able to rewind on their radio shows and listen to what's happened over the past week, I think. And they're also doing an assortment of podcasts and documentaries and stuff. It's actually genuinely a really good service. It's a really good app, or it's a really good online feature. I don't know what it's like for those outside of the UK, so if it is restricted, I have no idea how you're going to listen to Doctor Who Redacted, but let's figure it out. And the Dark Prince Jude, a VPN. Or a VPN maybe, but yeah. Okay, I can not endorse any of that behaviour. Anyway, the 10-part series will begin alongside the television Easter special on April 17th, giving fans a brand new podcast of action-packed adventures left of the much-loved science fiction series. Tune into Doctor Who Redacted from the 17th of April 2022 on BBC Sounds. So I presume as soon as Legend of the Sea Devils is broadcast, there'll be a little banner on the side of the credits saying, oh, so check out Doctor Who Redacted. And I have been saying for like years that they should have a Doctor Who podcast when the show is running, and it's annoying that they don't, because the BBC on BBC Sounds do have the like Killing Eve Obsessed or Line of Duty Obsessed. The Obsessed branding is like there. They don't just have a obsessed show for a specific TV show. It's what is the main thing that's circulating right now, what's been broadcast right now. But they've never had one for Doctor Who, and that feels like a massive missed opportunity, especially because it would be significantly easier to put together than something like Doctor Who Confidential. Like, I'd rather have Doctor Who Confidential, but if we're limited, like a podcast on BBC Sounds of Doctor Who would be like perfect, I think. So listeners will be introduced to characters Cleo Proctor, played by Charlie Craggs, Abby McPhail, played by Lois Chimimba, and Shauna Thomas, played by Holly Quinn Ankra, alongside some familiar faces, including the Doctor, played by Jodie Whittaker, Rani Chandra, Kate Stewart, Petronella Osgood, and Madame Vastra. So Doctor Who Redacted follows Cleo, Abby, and Shauna, 3 broke university dropouts from different cities across the UK who remain connected via their paranormal conspiracy podcast, The Blue Box Files. The trio speculate over Abby's favourite conspiracy theory, intent on finding out the truth behind the mysterious blue box that keeps cropping up across history. What if this random police public call box was actually an alien ship? Can you imagine, folks? Can you imagine? They don't know who the Doctor is or if aliens are real, but soon find themselves caught up in a supernatural conspiracy as they learn that everyone who's ever met the Doctor is disappearing and being forgotten. Essentially, they're being redacted from reality. The Blue Box Files is so unsuccessful that our heroes are the last ones to be affected by the redaction. That's a funny detail. Come on, I'm seeing some people say, I don't care, whatever, but that's funny, okay? Making Cleo, Abby, and Shauna the world's only hope. Now it's a race against time to uncover the truth. Set in the Doctor Who universe, the series entangles past and current storylines, cameos from the Doctor's friends and allies, as well as appearances from monsters, aliens, identifiable to fans and non-fans alike. When Cleo's brother Jordan, played by comedian Jacob Hawley, gets redacted, they spend the rest of the series trying to find him. In the meantime, Cleo is dealing with a mother who kicked her out for being trans when she was 16, whilst trying to find out what happened to her dad, who mysteriously, quote, disappeared when she was a kid. As the series unfolds, we find Abby, the resident believer, and Shauna, the skeptic, grapple with their own tribulations on the edge of a will-they, won't-they romance despite Abby's controlling boyfriend. Doctor Who Redacted is scripted by best-selling author Juno Dawson, Dawson. This is why you folks should be excited, by the by. Alongside a host of new and experienced writing talent with a strong emphasis on diversity and regionality. The audio drama primarily explores the relationships between ordinary people unknowingly immersed in the Doctor Who universe. Juno Dawson, lead writer, says Doctor Who is my first love and it's an absolute thrill to add to the ever-expanding mythology in podcast form for the first time ever. What a total privilege to write for something so beloved and put my own little flag on the landscape. The acclaimed cast for Doctor Who Redacted includes Jodie Whittaker, from Doctor, obviously. Doctor, I don't know why they bothered to put that in the article, but okay. Charlie Craggs, Jacob Hawley, Lois Chimimba. From Doctor Who and Vigil. What's Lois Chimimba been in? Was she in Doctor Who? She's in Vigil. I recognise her from Vigil. Oh, she's... Okay, so she's like the nurse in the Saranga Conundrum. Okay. It's all coming back to me now, folks. Holly Quinn Ankra from Coronation Street and Grange Hill. Jen Cheng. Gemma Redgrave. So we're getting more Kate Stewart action. Ingrid Oliver, as well as Osgood. Dune McKicken from Good Omens and Smack the Pony, and more. Doctor Who Redacted is available first on BBC Sounds Weekly from April 17th, and episode 1 will be available following Doctor Who's Legend of the Sea Devils on Easter Sunday. So it says Redacted will be available first on BBC Sounds Weekly from April 17th. So maybe they're going to be rolling this out maybe on YouTube, or they could even do a hard like CD release or something once all 10 episodes are out, in order for international audiences to experience the story. This seems really, really cool. So the other woman pictured here is Ella Watts, who is the director and one of the producers as well of Doctor Who Redacted. She's very open on Twitter. I may actually reach out and see if she wants to chat about this project, as well as Juno Dawson, who has written for Doctor Who before. And Toby in the chat, TFL Creative Media, Juno Dawson is wonderful. She's one of my favourite writers and wrote for Big Finish with Torch with the Dollhouse. Because of this news, I already had the Dollhouse because it was on sale, Toby, when you recommended it to me. It was on sale, and I picked it up and I listened to it today. She's really fun. It's basically Torchwood Hollywood, Los Angeles, but it's like Charlie's Angels. It's really fun. It's got like it's proper tongue-in-cheek, really leaning into the period setting and just the tropes of the glamorous ass-kicking woman genre. It was a really fun listen, really enjoyed it. But also, she has written for the book The Good Doctor, which is the 13th Doctor novel. I think it was like the first one of the 13th Doctor. The 13th Doctor BBC Books range. Torch Hollywood. Oh, that joke is not made in that episode, but that is the pun. That's the perfect pun. But yeah, Juno also was meant to write for Series 2 of Class. She was meant to do a Weeping Angel story for Series 2 of Class, which would have been a hell of a lot of fun. Check out my upcoming Class video, and if you're a patron, you'll get instant access to it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Because I know people are saying, oh, this isn't for me, this doesn't sound interesting. But you know what? It's like, it might not be for you, but it's something that still is part of the Doctor Who universe. You might get 10 really good episodes out of this. It's for free on BBC Sounds, and hopefully international viewers outside of the UK will be able to get access to it or be able to listen to it in some capacity. And I also saw some very small brain takes on Twitter as well, saying that this somehow detracts or takes away from Big Finish. No, like, just because it's an audio medium doesn't mean that Big Finish is somehow lesser, or that it means that Jodie Whittaker won't do Big Finish in the near future. It's really strange. Like, maybe Big Finish would have done this or something like this, but they didn't. It's going to BBC Sounds, which is absolutely fine. Just because Titan Comics do Doctor Who comic books doesn't mean that Doctor Who magazine don't do their own comic strips. Just because BBC Radio 4 did a Torchwood play does not mean that Big Finish doesn't get to do Torchwood plays, basically. Just appreciate the fact that we are getting more Doctor Who Expanded Universe stuff from some really cool, interesting, up-and-coming, diverse writers. Like, I'm looking forward to it. I might try and reach out to Ella and Juno as well, see if they want to chat about it on the live stream. We'll wait until there's a couple of episodes out so that there's, like, stuff to talk about, as in I've actually heard it. I much prefer doing that as opposed to, oh, so this project, tell me more about it. But yeah, Matt King says, don't know if you've missed it, well, but I have BBC Sounds access in Vietnam, so pretty sure it's international. Oh, cool, awesome. The Vietnam government blocks the BBC website occasionally, hilariously. That's interesting. Okay. Fist of Fury, wasn't there a 10th Doctor audio play that wasn't by Big Finish? Yeah, there have been loads. They even, like, Time Lord Victorious as well did some stuff that wasn't Big Finish related. Who knew? Josh Carr in the chat, hello, buzzing for this. As a podcaster, it's going to be really cool to see them play with this format. Yeah, basically, along with this, stuff like The Lonely Assassins and The Runaway, you're getting some really cool, interesting experimental stuff as Doctor Who expands outside of the mediums. Like, you don't want Big Finish to just have the monopoly on the expanded universe. I wish that Doctor Who did more books. However, this is a cool alternative, because if they did books, I'd just listen to the audiobooks anyway, so this kind of works out for me. So, The Puzzled Boy, super chatted $5. Redacted has some major Love and Monsters vibes, and I'm all here for it. Yes, that's the vibe I'm getting as well. Love and Monsters has had a bit of a renaissance in the past few years, and I also like the idea of them. I don't think it's taking pot shots at fans or anything, but the Blue Box Files is a podcast that is so unsuccessful that our heroes are the last ones to be affected by the redaction. That's funny. Come on, I hope that the fandom has a sense of humour. I said I hope that the fandom has a sense of humour about these things, okay? It's Love and Monsters, but significantly gayer. Significantly gayer, significantly transer, which means that it is 100 times better than Love and Monsters. Also, the title of this live stream generally is like Doctor Who is about to get very gay, or show gets very gay or something, but I had to, like, censor the word gay because that's just where YouTube's at now, basically. Just allude to any sort of LGBT element in the world and you'll just get demonetized or you'll get flagged as restricted, which is the world that we live in nowadays, which is why I'm incredibly surprised that BBC Sounds signed off on this, maybe thinking they can keep it under the radar and hoping that Nadine Dorris doesn't notice that trans people exist. Either way, I'm very glad, very happy. Russell Chechen, well, this is gay, from the Macra Terror. Yes, the best line from the best story.
Well, this is gay.